Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Chad Jones. I'm Vice President Strategy and Product Management with DynamicOps. Microsoft has provided a robust set of tools in System Center Configuration Manager, where you can manage operating systems and applications from a central location globally across your entire enterprise. These are very powerful tools and are well deployed with over 63% market share. However, SCCM, as it's popularly known, is not a cloud system. It doesn't have the deterministic nature needed to keep up with the rapid churn of the cloud environment. However, DynamicOps has come in and looked at our platform and is able to integrate with System Center Configuration Manager and allow that system to participate in the cloud infrastructure and leverage that robust existing investment. In today's demonstration, we're going to show you the integration between the DynamicOps Cloud Automation Center and Microsoft's System Center Configuration Manager 2012. We have a lot to show you, so let's get to it. So here we are inside of the System Center Configuration Manager console. And we're actually in the software library section under task sequences. Now, a task sequence is a series of events that allows you to configure an operating system or an application or both together in one motion. So now if we look inside of our install Windows 2008 R2, here we have our series of tasks. Use a boot image. This is a very simple task sequence. But you can actually add in all of the natural task sequence actions that are part of Configuration Manager. But now that this is set, we can look over at Assets and Compliance and see that we have a collection that's called Demo Machines as well. And that's going to be our target collection for this demonstration. So now I'm going to switch over to my DynamicOps console. So we're inside as the Enterprise Administrator. And now if I go over to the Enterprise Administrator and I look at our build profiles, you'll see that we have Windows 2008 SCCM provisioning. I'll go ahead and click Edit. Now inside of here, you notice our build profile name, but then we have a series of custom properties that actually collects the information needed to connect to that SCCM instance. So what you'll have is the name of the server, the collection names, and actually the password, again encrypted, the username, and importantly, the site code here. Now this site code, as we install the SCCM agent, will be included as part of that installation. It also goes to our Pixie server so that it can actually connect via Pixie to the SCCM system. Now we can add in any set of custom properties we'd like and pass those on to both the operating system and the application installation, so we can customize that based upon user principles, business policy, whatever is needed. So from there, if I go into the provisioning groups, these are the definitions of the business units, the groups of users that will leverage a blueprint or a service. So we can go into development, and you'll see inside of here that I've created this development group, and I've got some group managers, and I've got some users, and I could add some supporting roles if I wanted to add my help desk into here, for example. But inside of here, I also have custom properties associated around this grouping of users. So now I have things like group location, what's your PG name, we're tied in with SCVMM here as well, so we can put in a description for the name of the cloud that it's associated with. But if I want to go even more granular with my properties that I want to pass to Configuration Manager, I can add those inside of this custom property list. Now there's three types of custom properties. The first is a static custom property. So I can add in a hard-coded value like I have here with London. Or I can actually prompt the user to get their input and add whatever they enter into the custom property and pass that on to System Center Configuration Manager or any other system we integrate with. Finally, and most interestingly, we actually have a dynamic property where we can actually kick off to a workflow and have that workflow talk to other systems and dynamically calculate the proper value based upon any other third-party information. So that way, we have a very simple system so that I can have one provisioning group, but yet get multiple choices that come out of that without even having to ask the user a single question. The system just intrinsically knows what is needed for that user. That's very powerful, and we view that that is the key to scaling the private cloud and making it manageable. So back to SCCM. So now if I go into my blueprints, the blueprint is really the service definition that ties together our build profiles and our provisioning groups, our reservations, which are placement locations inside of the fabric, brings them together and makes them meaningful. So if we go into Windows 2008 Server via SCCM and click Edit, the properties will come up for this blueprint. Now you'll notice that I've given it a name, and I've assigned it to my development group. I could also put on an approval policy. We can approve it, basically there's no approval policy, or there's a simple approval policy, go above a certain threshold you're asking for, and we'll ask for a single manager's approval, all the way to a custom hierarchical approval structure where I could have multi-level approvals, and this is all built into the system. You see what's the max number of machines for this blueprint, archive policy, and actually a granular cost, and cost is put throughout the entire system as well. If we go into build information, you can see that I'm using, actually this is being built on System Center Virtual Machine Manager on Hyper-V, but we're using the virtual SCCM provisioning workflow. So this is what grabs from our build profile and actually takes all of those custom properties, calculates them down, and then hands off to SCCM when the virtual container is created, and then does some really cool things. It will actually automatically add that created system into the collection. It'll make sure all of its applications are installed, the discovery for the data record is created. And then when that's done, you'll have a fully functioning and manageable asset, not only from the user side inside of DynamicOps Cloud Automation Center, but also in System Center Configuration Manager. And you can do your normal SCCM operations there, such as asset inventory, hot fixing, patching, deploying new applications, removing applications, asset intelligence, and again, the list goes on because that's a very powerful tool. But now it's been cloudified. It's been able to be integrated into the management fabric of the cloud and done so in a way that it can deal with the high churn nature of a cloud environment. So I'll go back in, look at properties here, again using the Windows 2008 SCCM provisioning workflow. And again, if I wanted to provide custom properties that further provide a granular configuration for this blueprint, I can add that in here as well. So let's go ahead and look at a user interface. And if I go to this user interface, I'm logged in as just a normal user. And what you'll notice on the left-hand side here is we're missing a lot of the navigation buttons that you saw in the Enterprise Administrator view. So on the right here we have, for this particular user, we have a couple virtual machines, but I can also go in and request a machine. Now, based upon that blueprint, that service definition we had, remember we assigned that to development. This user happens to be a member of development. If I go down to Windows 2008 Server via SCCM, I can select that in my service catalog and simply add in how many machines I need and the reason for the request and say, OK. And this will actually go up and spin up. And remember, that blueprint had it spinning up through System Center Virtual Machine Manager, or it could be done on VMware as well. And then it will connect to SCCM and actually do the configuration of the operating system and the applications as we defined in that blueprint. So if I go ahead and look back at my machines, you'll notice that I've already created a couple machines inside of here, this dev VM007, for example. Now, I'm going to switch over to my SCCM console, as we had earlier. And now you'll notice that there's that dev VM007. It already has the agent installed. When we provisioned that machine through our blueprint, it actually put the agent on, put in the proper site code, and then registered with SCCM as needed. So if I go in and actually look at the properties here, you can see I have all of the system properties necessary. Just like you would see with a physical system inside of SCCM, it's now inside of the cloud system. And again, I can fully manage that through the power of the SCCM toolset. So as we've seen through the demonstration, System Center Configuration Manager provides a robust set of tools for deploying operating systems and managing applications. However, it is not a cloud system. DynamicOps provides a cloud abstraction layer that's able to take the power of that existing System Center Configuration Manager investment and make it a cloud-enabled system and a partner in the cloud management fabric. Combined with the user-centric business awareness that DynamicOps provides, you have the most powerful toolset necessary to actually build your private cloud. This combination really provides the fastest time to cloud value. My name's Chad Jones. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.